Welcome to my channel. I'm Elizabeth Liz Muschett, and today it's the Astrology Star Sisters talking about Uranian astrology and introduction. And my star sister, fellow astrologer and friend Karen Wennerlind here is joining me today to share her knowledge on Uranian astrology. I'm so excited to be learning about Uranian astrology, Karen.
Oh, good, because Uranian astrology is fun.
Awesome. So, how are
Yeah,
you today?
I'm good. I'm good. Another beautiful Friday in Seattle. Gotta love it.
Awesome. Okay. So, Karen is a Uranian and Western astrologer, teacher, combining business astrology, tarot, mythology, metaphysics, and mediumship. And her website is seattleastrologer.com. And my website is alightpath.com. And you can reach us through our websites. So, I'll let you get started, Karen.
Sure. So, Uranian astrology is a little bit different from tra- both the ancient or slash traditional astrology and the type of astrology that's mostly used in the West now, which is more psychologically based astrology, um, because it has different things that it considers important. And it starts with the hierarchy of things that Uranian considers to be important in analyzing the chart. And of course, the cat decided to come in and help us. Um, and the basics of the system start with and focus on six personal points, which are planets, part of the planets, and points in the system that, excuse me, um, freak me out. Sorry about that, guys. Uh, So there's two different groups of points of these 6 points. So the outer group are the things that are outside of you, the impersonal things. They're how you relate to the world in some way. The Aries point, which are the connections that we have with other people, and the Ascendant, which are how we connect to our environment, where we live, what our neighborhood's like, and the nodal axis, which are our specific connections to people that we are deeply, that are kind of out of our control to be connected to. And we'll go in more detail into what each of those points are. A lot of people don't even know what the Aries point is because it's not used in modern astrology at all. But this outer group represents how you are seen. It's impersonal because it's about how you feel, not even how you feel, how you're seen rather than who you are. And so the you, it's kind of your personality ish as it pulls things together. It's about space and spatial concepts. So, how you feel like you are in the world. A lot of people will say, I just feel like I don't fit in. And this is those 3 points, Aries point, ascendant, and node, will tell you a lot about how they feel about connecting with society, social groups, their family. And of course, it's the collective. It's the sense of how you connect to the world in some way, shape, or form. And go ahead to the next. And then the inner group are talking about what the individual self is. Who am I as a person? This is personal. These 3 points are all about me, the I. So the midheaven talks about the minute something happens. It's the point where everything happens and focuses. It's when the thing happens exactly. So it's like we're doing what we're doing right now, and that's the minute that would be reflected in the midheaven of the chart. The moon is the hour, so it's about time, it's about space, it's our emotional connection, it's how we reflect, it's how our soul emerges out of the data we have that we collect. And the sun representing the day, we have sunny day, windy day today, lovely. It's our life force. We're alive today. I woke up this morning and I feel like here I am. So, all 3 of these points are about time and about how we relate to time. Um, and it talks to our inner state of being, how we see ourselves, and how we relate to consciousness. Some people can be very self-aware, um, as a little child, get into high school and totally shut down. And it may take them until they're in their 40s to kind of wake up and go, yeah, I am me. I don't have to fit in with the world anymore. So so the inner group focuses on the development of capital S self. Okay. And within the outer group, the Aries point is least used by astrologers, because it's an older point that we all share in common. It represents all the cardinal axis points. By that I mean 0 degrees Aries, 0 Cancer, 0 Libra, and 0 Capricorn. And this point, since we all have it in common, is about how we connect and how we connect with this one and that one. And it can be, because it's with everybody, and 0 Aries, um, 0 Libra, they're in everybody's chart. We all have this connection, but it's not personal. It's like, oh, how do I relate to that focus on how we take action, how we do things in the world, either the world or society, or our it could be the Parents T-ball Association. Those are all places in society that aren't our family, but it's places that we begin having connections. And everybody in that T-ball group, all the parents, all the kids, have a different experience of that T-ball group, but they're all working towards making it a viable organization that does stuff in the world. So Aries Point is very much about how we take action with others and create in the world. Okay, go ahead. And then the Ascendant is our local environment. It's where we live. It's our neighborhood. It's the barber shop. It's the hair salon. It's the grocery store. It's the park down the street. It's the dogs that walk past your house every day with their owners, going for a walk. It's how you see that and how you relate to that. How do you connect to that neighborhood. Do you feel safe in your neighborhood? If you don't feel safe, um, you can often see some aspect to the ascendant that is making you feel unsafe or unsure in some way, shape, or form. And it's the first place where other people see you in a closer manner. Where if you're just part of the T-ball group, they may not get to know you, but but you have a conversation. I just had one yesterday. The house across the street is up for sale. And the realtors, stopped by and said, come over to an open house. And so I did. That was fun. It was an open house, and there are a couple other neighbors over there. And, we don't know each other well by any means, but we know we're neighbors. And it's like, yeah, I'm the one in the blue house, and which house is yours? And so it was, just a local environment thing. And it was, it's like, it was fun. It was how I saw that. And so the ascendant is how you see the place you live, how you feel about it. And it is the first place where you really express your personality. Now, it doesn't develop your personality, but you express it, and people see you in a way that you may or may not be, but it's like they see you. And it's like people who are watching this presentation, they don't know you or I, but they know us, right? So that's the ascendant. It's like I have a feel about my friends here on the internet, and you don't know each other at all, but we're you know but we're familiar. And it's but you become dependable. Are you somebody that I could rely on in some way, shape, or form as other people look at you? And it's like, it's not who you are, but it's how you might present yourself. And so the moon's nodes in Uranian astrology, we make no difference between the north and the south node when we're analyzing a chart. Um, and so we're just looking at our karmic connections, or the connections that we have little or no choice about. Who are your children? Who are your parents? What's your greater family? Um, who was their teacher in the third grade that tormented you? Who was, who was the pastor at your church, or the t-ball coach? You don't have any control over those people, but they can be very, very important in your life. They can be very uh, they're kind of your gateway to how you have relationships with other people that you choose to have relationships with. And so it's like I don't have any choice figuring out how to get along with my mom and my dad, but because I learn how to get along with folks through my mom and my dad and brothers and sisters, then I now know how to get along with my friends when I go into third grade, when I go into high school, when I have my first romantic relationships. I have already learned how to be with people through these um, outer through these nodal karmic relationships. It can also represent your heredity. It's like, oh, I'm part Scandinavian and part Croatian, so I'm a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And so, I get, I get some of those physical characteristics from that heredity. And really, the only time we use the South Node is when we're looking at a chart with house systems. And we'll talk about that in later explorations of Uranian astrology. But typically, when we start out with Uranian, we don't care about houses. We don't care about them. And so in the inner group, the most important point in the chart is the midheaven, because the midheaven is actually you. Here's where you live. You're the person, you're the I. It's your ego, your capital S self, your inner I. It's the environment that your soul lives in. When you talk to yourself in your head, it's where you go and live, and it's that part of you. It's not the negative self-talk voice, because that's another part of the personality that we have to go through, but it's the observer part of you. It's the part of you that just is. When it's who you choose to be, it's how you decide, here's what I want to become. Here's how I grow. Here's what I want. Those goals that you have, goals to be an astrologer, the goals to be good at business, to be an entrepreneur, whatever your goals are, goals to be a dancer, an artist, all of, not everybody has the same goals. It's private. It's private. It's like many people, I don't have the slightest desire to have a YouTube channel. Don't want to go there. It just doesn't interest me. But I am so glad that there are people like you, Liz, who actually want to do that, and you love to talk astrology, and we can have these conversations. It would be a boring world if we wanted to do the same thing. And it can also be a career. Sometimes it is a career, it's a calling. It can also be the place where you have decided this is who I am, and how you grow through that. Because the person you were when you were 4 is not the person you were at 14, at 24, or at 74. Each of those has grown. And with the midheaven, it's how you go about that process of growth. Sometimes when you're a kid, you grow fast, learn so many new things. But, when you get, pretty much after you're 20, 25, you can stop growing because you have goals and you're accomplishing those goals, and those goals take time. Where before you were learning, and so you were growing quickly because you were always learning. Yeah. And because it's the now, it's who you are now. At any given point in time, it's the now. We'll often see when we're looking at a chart of a person that when we're talking about them in class, when we're reviewing, somebody's chart in class, you look at their chart and there's an aspect happening to their midheaven or to their moon while we are talking about them because we're talking about them. And they can be alive or dead, but it's like we're just talking about them and it's reflected in the chart.
So I have a question. Is
Sure.
the minute equal to the now?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the minute is the now. And so the next is the sun, because the sun is our life force. It's the body, and the body contains the life force. It's yang energy, so it's outer energy. It's how we go out into the world and how we develop that sense of who we are. It's the masculine or maleness, it's the father, it's that part of us that, even though you and I are both women, we both have a male side to our personalities. And the sun kind of represents that masculine force that's within us. And as such, it gets identified with will. It's primal, positive, it goes out. Um, am I shy about going after what I want? Am I quiet about how I do that? That can be seen in the relationships between aspects with the sun. Um, the sun represents the day, and I like that it zeroes in on what is important in a specific day. Um, you can, in beginning astrology, one of the things some teachers do for students is you'll watch the transit of the sun, and every day it's moving from 2 degrees to 3 degrees to 4 degrees to 5 degrees, and it's making connections between other parts of your chart. And so you can learn, how do I feel when that sun is having an aspect to a particular place? Um, when the transiting sun is having. And that's a way to kind of learn to embody what some transits you know, feel like to you, how to relate to them. And more often, we get that with the moon, which is our next one, where when we look at where is the moon today, how do I feel about the day? Because the moon is so instinctive and reflective, and it just soaks everything in. And we often don't really realize that we are feeling all of this stuff as a filter. And from its ability to feel and to go, oh, I'm sad. This feeling, it's not quite sad, but it's kind of intense. And what is that? We question and we add value to it, which causes the body or the sun to then reflect on, oh, how is this relating back to me? And again, this is an inner group member, and it's all about me. It's not, and through you being able to relate to you, then you can be honest in the way you relate to other people. on the deepest level, the moon holds all of your soul material, all your soul potential, which you may or may not achieve in any particular lifetime. In fact, I think it would be unusual to be able to get to absolutely everything your soul came here to do. I mean, our soul came here with a pretty long list. There are lots to do. There's never an end to it. And so, but it moves us on. We want to know more, which it's not just intellectual. It's like, I want to feel it. I want to know that's right. The moon represents the yin energy, the feminine energy, the mother energy. So it can be stronger in women than it is in men, but men are also excellent sources of yin energy. And so, because it's the instinctive, the subconscious, um, when we're not aware, when we don't understand what we feel, and when we're a baby, we understand nothing, but we feel everything. And so we just sit there with this container of, oh, I feel all this stuff. I've got this basket of feelings. And then finally our body says, oh, I get to eat. That's a good feeling. My body likes this. So we start relating as an infant how I feel to how that works with my body. And so it's very unconscious, very subconscious and instinctive, because it's like, ooh, somebody just walked into the room, and you can tell when a baby knows that grandma just walked into the room, because grandma's got a particular energy, and they'll perk up and go, oh, hi, but they may not perk up when somebody else comes in, because they just, it's like, okay, some person, some random, don't know it. So from a baby's point of view, they're just neutral until they know that somebody's going to come ooh and ah over them, right? Then we like them. But it starts out being very unconscious, and the older one gets, the more one becomes more aware and more conscious that, oh, this is a feeling. And how do I feel about this feeling? And what does that mean? And the why of something, it does ask questions the more it is out and about in the world. It creates action in the life based on reflecting on what has gone on in the past. So it's like grandma is really a fun person to be around, because she oohs and ahs and I feel really good around her. So throughout your life, your natural reaction is going to be, here's somebody with a grandma voice, or here's somebody with hair that looks like my grandma's hair, or here's, I can't tell you all the times that I've had some anonymous kid run up to me and hang on to my leg. And it's like, okay, I'm not your auntie, but that's okay. Let's find auntie, and it's because there's an energy that child represents as safe and or kind. But it's like, oh, I'm worried, so I'm going to do that. And they act instinctively out of a pattern that was set up unconsciously. And this is how our automatic systems work for us. It's very deep. And as we grow, then our soul can develop as we become more aware of that feeling. Oh, here's a person. Um, we often go to therapy over our relationship with our parents, and we can have relationships with uh, with people who have been uh, who have characteristics of a parent that we have unfinished business with. I can't tell you all the relationships I had when I was young that were with my mother. It was some piece of this person was my mom, and I was trying to get uh, something that I needed to get from my mom, but I was projecting that onto another person who had some of those characteristics. And it's like, okay, as we grow, hopefully we figure that out, or we do therapy and the therapist helps us figure it out. And um, until we can grow through some of that.
Well, that's interesting because I've had young children run up to me in a store and they're almost to me and then they realize that I'm not who they're looking for and their eyes get really big and then they like
Like, oh,
look startled and then back off. So that
yeah,
kind of explains it. Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. It's like, it's just our energy just creates connections and we don't even know we're doing it. And so when that happens, we're in our moon, so the person is in the moon, but that child is feeling our ascendant. They're looking and feeling like, oh, I know this energy, I'm going to go towards it. That's our ascendant. We're putting, here's our energy, but they see that. So it's really interesting. Um, but so within Uranian astrology, we feel that nothing happens without the involvement of those 6 personal points. It starts with the cardinal axis, the Aries point, because it is the most general view of looking at a chart. And as you're looking at the generalities of how that person connects to the world, it will begin to highlight areas that are unique to that individual. And that's what looking at a chart does, is it's like, oh, here is how this person is unique. um, and we complete looking at the relationships between the rest of the outer group, and then we go into the inner group. So you start with the Aries point, you go to the um, what was the second one? I forget.
Was it the ascendant?
The ascendant. It was the ascendant. I'm going, was that this? The ascendant, and then you go to the node. And so you start with that outer group. You do one at a time, and then you go into the inner group and do midheaven, sun, moon. And by the time you get to that moon, you've started with how the person is relating to the world, and then you get farther into how are they relating to themselves and how do they feel about that relationship they have. And so you get um, an amazingly good understanding of an individual just by reviewing those points. Then once you do that, your conversation with that person allows you to add any of the many tools within astrology that can help that individual answer questions that they might have about about stuff that's going on in their life, because your client is going to come to you ask with a question. Or if you're a hobbyist and you're looking at your own chart, you're going, all right, well, what's going on right now? Why do I'm feeling this energetic that I just need to do something right now. So what is it that I need to do? You're looking, because we want surety, we want to be able to get it, to understand and not make a mistake. Uh, and we have this sense too of our society wants us to be perfect. And it's not true. They don't expect us to be perfect, but we do have those standards for ourselves where we want to know. And so astrology is a great tool for helping us develop some of that self-knowledge. If you don't know what the questions might be that I need to ask, it's like, oh, here's a great tool. When we get more into using midpoints or antisha or aspects or those houses that we just touched on. Um, in Uranian astrology, we use a thing called a 90-degree dial a lot. Our 360-degree dial that we use the most looks entirely different from the normal pizza pie chart that modern astrology uses. It's based on an earth chart with Cancer on the top and Capricorn on the bottom of the chart. And it's crazy making until it's not, until you understand it. But those are all other tools that you don't even need to start a conversation with a client about what's going on with the basics of who they are. It's those 6 personal points matter the most. And just knowing those and just looking at how they are connected to the other parts of the chart, you pretty much know what you need to know to go deeper with a client and with yourself.
Well, thank you. That was a wonderful introduction to Uranian astrology, laying the groundwork. And Karen will be back probably in a month or, about that time with the second installment of Uranian astrology and to
Yeah.
give us a few more details and get us started. So I thank the audience that's watching live and the audience that come back and watch at a later date. We appreciate your support. And I want to thank you, Karen, for taking your time and joining me today. This was great.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks for asking me. This is really, really fun to be able to share Uranian.
And Karen does consultations, and you can reach her at seattleastrologer.com. I do consultations, have a newsletter, and of course, my YouTube channel. So you can contact me, and my website is alightpath.com. I will be on Talk Cosmos on May 25th at 1 p.m. talking about the new moon. I'm part of the Archetypal Symbols team. It'll be the Gemini new moon, and it's about core connections to transform. And again, Karen can be reached at seattleastrologer.com, and I can be reached at alightpath.com. And I want to thank Karen again and everybody for joining us. And we're going to say goodbye for now and see you next time.